Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my sketchbook tour. I wasn't too sure if I want to share my sketchbook, but I decided to just go for it. So you got a sketchbook tour. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. So I have the Moleskine one. I don't know if they have different ones, but this is just the, I think A5 sketchbook. I don't know how thick the paper is. I started this one on the 10th of February in 2019, which means that this took me about 2 years to finish, and that's just way too long because this is also pretty much all the art I did in these 2 years. So yeah, keep that in mind. The beginning in here is a little bit rough because it's pretty old. In the front I just have some sketches where I practiced drawing these flowers because I made a big painting of an octopus with flowers. I will insert it right here, and I was just trying out if I could actually manage to draw that. The first page is empty as always. In the beginning my pages are pretty empty, but that gets better throughout the sketchbook. And I started the sketchbook when I was watching Sex Education, so I decided to draw Otis. I actually wanted to fill this whole page with characters from the show, but I never did because I got very discouraged when I started drawing Otis. And on this page we just have some faces that I drew without a reference, I believe. I don't think I used a reference for this one. And then I wanted to do the 100 heads challenge, but I just got to draw 13 faces because, I don't know, I just stopped doing it. But I actually really like him and I also like her, and the rest, yeah, well, the rest is okay. It's nothing too interesting. Here are some very quick sketches. I found an internet page where you can put on a timer and they will show you a random picture for the amount of time you put in. Here I drew some more naked bodies but without a reference this time, and this is just a cute little girl. So I thought about this text. It says, "Before she knew, flowers grew out of her spine and the sun was shining again." And I wanted to illustrate it, so this is what I came up with, and here I just did the sketches to try out how I want the person to sit. Next up is a landscape. I never draw landscapes, so I decided to challenge myself, and then I decided, you know what? Landscapes are just not my thing, and I stopped. But then I challenged myself again and decided to draw some architecture and some city pictures, and you know, I definitely need more practice. Let's just stick to that. Next up we have my dad, because he always annoys me that I should draw him. It does not look like my dad, but I tried. And here I wanted to fill the whole page with plants, but I stopped doing that. As you can see, my sketchbook is a lot of starting but not finishing, and that is totally alright. A cute little girl. Now when I show people my sketchbook, they always ask if that was supposed to be me, because if that is your first video of mine, I shaved my head in March, so now every person with a shaved head in here, people think I drew self-portrait, but I just usually like to draw people with shaved heads because I think it looks super cool, so that's why I drew a lot and later on decided to shave my own head. This was at work and it was such a hot day that I decided to kind of illustrate how I was feeling during the day, and there were also no people in the restaurant because no one went out that day and I was just alone and just waiting for people to come in to maybe grab a lemonade or something. This picture is so funny to me now because when I drew it, it looked alright. I thought I did a good job, but now I just see how long the legs are, and in general how long her body is in comparison to her head. Just imagine this person standing up. Just do that for a minute. Some more sketches of faces because that is what I love to do and that is what the sketchbook mostly consists of. Then Inktober started, Inktober 2009, and the first prompt was rings, so I decided to draw some hands with rings because we love a good manly hand with rings. And this is something I also drew at work because I was bored again. And I watched Hocus Pocus the day before, so I drew, how's she called? I'm not sure. This was Mindless. I'm not gonna say too much about these. The prompt here was bait and I drew like a siren. And I think that was it for October. So as you can see, I'm not very consistent with challenges. Next up we have one of my favorite pages. I like this page so much because I was in Asia at that time and I wanted to draw each week on one sketchbook page. As you can guess, I never went very far with it. I think I got until week 4 or so. So I didn't do all the weeks that I had in Asia, but I started. I had the idea. I had the intention. But this was my first week, so I drew my backpack and I drew the temples we were at, and also I drew the night train, which was such a cool experience. And overall, I really like to look at this page because, I don't know, I like the style of it, and it's also a lot of memories. At that time, there was like the plan that someone would get a tattoo of my artwork, but that kind of fell through. But these are like some ideas that I had for a tattoo. Here's week 2. We went to see some elephants. It was also Halloween. And yeah, just good memories. Oh my god, I actually did week 3. I think, I'm not sure if it ends here. But here's week 3. We were in Pai, which is in the north of Thailand. And honestly, I loved Pai so much. It's such a cute little town and they had so much good food there. And then I tried to draw a self-portrait, but I gave up before I actually really started. I promise you the pages are going to be a little bit more fuller, like in the future. Here are my sketches that I did at 8 a.m. when I decided to get a tattoo, and I got the tattoo at the same day at 6 p.m. So that was pretty spontaneous, especially for someone like me who always was kind of unsure about tattoos. But I have now this flower drawing as a tattoo in a smaller version, but these were just the prints the tattoo artist gave me to see what size I would want. And I drew these 2 girls because I saw them in one of the hostels we were staying at, and I thought they looked so cool, and it actually turned out that they are from Berlin. I attempted to draw them, and then I didn't know what else to do with the page, so I just filled it with these lines. This is week 4, and as you can tell, my motivation slowly but surely died, so I didn't draw the faces in, I just did outlines, and we were on our way to Cambodia. So that's the bus ride, which was very long, 24 hours to be exact, so that was fun. And this is the last week I started to draw, and that was in Korong, and yeah, I wish I finished that, and I also wish I would have finished all the weeks because I actually really like looking at these pages. And they are also very challenging because normally I would never draw a landscape or a dog. So yeah, maybe I should have continued that. This is when I got back, and this is actually the beginning of 2020 now. So as you can see, I didn't draw much in 2019. So that's fun. And this is Emma Fritzl, and the pictures were taken by Romina Introini. I'm not really sure if that's how you pronounce their names, but she's a model and she's a fashion photographer, and I love them both very much. Some more faces. This is Emma Louise, a German YouTuber, and this is the Call Me By Your Name movie poster. I actually wanted to write also Call Me By Your Name above it, but I never did. As so many things. This is also from the Instagram of Emma Louise, and here I wanted to draw a pool, and yeah, that also never happened. I didn't realize how many unfinished pages I have in this. I'm so sorry. Some more faces, and this is actually when I decided to draw every day in March. I give you 2 seconds to guess if I succeeded that. I didn't. I'm very happy if you said yes and if you were positive, but I didn't. I drew some hands because I really need to practice drawing hands. It's actually my own hand. Does it look like it? I'm not sure. Why does my hand look so red? What the fuck? Is that normal? Anyways, so I drew some hands because I really need to practice hands. And I also watched Haikyuu, and I drew my boy Hinata. I love him so much. And I also drew, obviously, Tobio Kageyama. You can't draw Hinata without Tobios. And I actually really like drawing them because when I was little, I drew a lot of mangas and then just stopped from one day to the other. So it was actually so much fun to draw something in that style again. And this is a self-portrait that I actually drew like right before I shaved my head. I think I shaved it around 5 days later. It does not really look like me, but this must be like one of the first self-portraits I drew. Here I drew Billie Eilish with this pen. I think it's the Polychromo. Yes, it's a Polychromo. So that's what I used, and I drew some more hands, and this one turned out better. Another attempt at some architecture. I am not a fan. It also looks like it would crash into itself the minute you look away. So I need practice. And this one I actually did just with a ballpoint pen and just straight onto the page. So even though it's not perfect, I still quite like it because it turned out so much better than I expected. And there's no erasing in here. So this is just every line that I put on here stayed on here forever. So that was very stressful, but also very fun. And then I did some more faces. I love these two faces, and in general I think these three faces look quite good, and especially since they look pretty different from my usual faces. And here's a self-portrait. You can't see that one either. You see that better now. It honestly doesn't look that much like me. I think if you know the picture, you would know that this is the picture, but if you just saw this, I don't think you would see that it is me. I don't know. Maybe you can, but I honestly can't, so... Some more hands, and this hand looks so terrifying. It's just like, it looks like it's gonna crawl up on you. I don't know what I did there, but I didn't do it well. And here's just like some fantasy person, and I actually quite like her, so maybe I'm gonna turn her into a character and think about like a story behind her, but for now, she's just this nameless person in my sketchbook. This was my first time drawing with Copic after a really long time. And as you can tell, sorry, this is so bad, I don't want to show it, but as you can tell, it bleeds through the page quite a lot. Then I drew some squiggly lines, and these were so much fun. I started drawing lines whenever I was motivated to draw, but had no inspiration whatsoever. So I just sat down and drew some lines just to start drawing something. And I actually really like how these turned out, and they were very therapeutic to draw, so I would highly recommend you to just draw some lines if you're uninspired but motivated to draw something. And these two pages are probably one of my favorite pages in the whole sketchbook. They also took quite some time. This is Janelle and this is Hitomi. I will write the Instagrams up here. And I first sketched it out with my green polychromo, and then I went over it with a blue ball pen. And let me tell you, that was such a struggle because my ballpoint pen didn't really draw. So as you can see, there are a lot of like blobs of ink coming out of it at once. And also it did not draw onto the green pencil at all. So each line you see here was drawn at least 3 times before the ink started flowing out. Here are some more sketches, and I actually turned this one into a finished art piece. I will show you that right here. Then I fell in love with the look of mullet, so I decided to draw a girl with a mullet, and I think she looks really cool. If you look like this, you are a fucking badass and I love you. Without knowing you, I love you. And here are some more lines because I was pretty sad that day and I thought lines would cheer me up, and they actually did. So again, draw some fucking lines. They make you happy. This was in Zurich. Again, I tried at architecture and I failed, but it's alright. And here I saw this really cool girl with a mullet. She just, I don't know if I want to be with her or if I want to be her, because she was just so cool and I wanted to draw her, but I just couldn't make her justice. So I stopped because I just was, this is an insult to this girl, so I will not draw her if it won't turn out pretty. So I stopped. And then I drew some jellyfishes, and I love jellyfish so much. I think they are so pretty, and I drew some more. And I actually really like this. I wanted to make a Lionel print out of it, but I am really bad at figuring out how I would have to actually carve the Lionel to get this, so I didn't do it yet. And here's just a little frog guy that I also really adore because, I don't know, I think he looks cute, and he's telling you to not forget to drink water. So if you haven't drank some water today, go up and get yourself a glass of water. And then we have this page. These are all referenced from Pinterest, and I drew them all with my Muji pens. Wait, like this, like these gel pens. And I had so much fun drawing this page, and it was also a really good practice because I normally would never draw all of these people because they're all out of my comfort zone. And it was also such a great practice because you will make mistakes, but it makes no sense to worry about those mistakes because you can't fix them anyways. So After like the first portrait, you just start drawing and hope for the best. And because everything is layered up, you can't really see mistakes that easily. Like, yes, they're not perfect, but it still looks kind of cool. So I'm happy with it. Then, oh my god, I can't stand anymore because I'm standing so that I can speak directly into the microphone. But I'm standing for half an hour now and my legs are getting tired. Anyways, here's another page that I color coordinated, but I did not know that I wanted to color coordinate it, so I drew these flowers pretty much in the beginning when I started this page, and now I'm like so mad because it would look so much better if the flowers weren't here. And I also wanted to draw something here, but I never did. I feel like I'm just repeating myself because I never finish my pages. This was a Draw This in Your Style by... Wait, let me check before I say anything wrong. This is not my character. I was just drawing it in my style. And here's just another girl that I reference off from Pinterest. And I think the yellow color is with this Tombow pen. Tombow? Is that how you say it? I don't know, but with this pen. Then we have an old man. Is that considered old? I would call him old. But I'm not used to drawing like older people. So this was a nice practice and I definitely need to practice more. This is just some random piece of paper. And here's just this demon clown girl. And I colored it in with black and red ink. And then, surprise, surprise, there are some more lines. And I think this kind of looks like water, like very abstract water. I have so much fun drawing these that I'm thinking about maybe turning some of these into like bigger paintings and just fill my whole room with this. And then we're coming to the last page. This is exciting. Oh my god. So here I just drew with my Muji gel liner some faces again, and I made a mistake here and also here. This is still not perfect at all. Don't look at her too closely. But I just gave up. I was like, okay, we're done with her. This is not gonna get any better. But I actually really like her. And these were also referenced from Pinterest. And this was also a reference from Pinterest. I really like the colors in the picture, so I decided to draw it. And I drew it with acrylics. And this is all for my sketchbook. The last page is a sketch a friend of mine did of me. And I also drew him, but I gave that to him. But yeah, that is all. This is everything I drew in the past 2 years. I know that my sketchbook is far away from perfect. This is really a place for me to just sketch and stop drawing if I don't want to anymore. So that's why there are many unfinished pieces in here. But I still hope you enjoyed the things that you saw in here. And if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. And I'm gonna see you in my next video. Bye!